Namaskaram, Namaskaram everyone. In this video I want to talk about something that I got from one of you guys. So I'm just going to read it to you. I have a friend who is interested in doing yoga and IE, inner engineering. He asked me a question today to which I don't have an answer. He asked me I wanted to join yoga, but I have seen that people who enter the spiritual path tend to cut off from the materialistic pleasures of the world. He said he wanted to earn loads and loads of money and have big cars, big homes, branded clothes, you get it. But at the same time, mind like a monk. He fears he'll leave everything behind and become a monk. Leave his girlfriend as he feels yoga will kill his sex drive and he fears that. Sir, can you make a video on this, or can you explain this problem that he has? So this is a really good question, because I think this fear is probably in more men than women, without being gender biased or anything. I definitely had that fear, but for me it's never been that big of a deal. Like it comes up, but I know that what I get with yoga is anyways much bigger than this materialistic stuff. But I can see how that can, if you're not yet experienced something bigger in your life, that this could be something that kind of prohibits you from doing these things, because you feel like, oh, I don't want to lose these materialistic pleasures, because you didn't see the beyond yet. You didn't see that there's something that's just way bigger than the materialistic stuff anyway. But I'm going to kind of unravel this whole thing, and hopefully you're watching this. Hopefully you watch what Vivek sent you. This is the name of the guy who wrote the text. So let's break this up. Let's break this apart. There is no such thing as materialistic or spiritual. It's kind of the same basis. And if you become more spiritual, probably most likely you'll also gain more materialistic wealth. I mean, just look at the people who had become enlightened. Look at Buddha, like Gautama the Buddha. Look at even Sadhguru. Look at all these people. The funny thing is, most of them, they had a very good materialistic stand. So they were the Gautama Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. He had like a father who was a king, and he just gave him all the food and girlfriends and toys and everything that he wanted, and he would completely shut him off from all things that were bad, like death, sickness, disease, all this stuff. And then when he realized all these bad things, he was like, what is this whole life about, So I don't know how it was when he was just seeing the materialistic pleasures, but once he saw something that was big in his life, beyond that, he gave up on his materialistic wealth. So that's maybe where one of these fears come from. If you look at Sadhguru, he had like a business and he was doing really well, and then he sat down on Chamundi Hill, he suddenly got enlightened and he quit his business. So all these stories, they make us feel like, oh, if I get enlightened, if I work on my spiritual path, go on my spiritual path, I work on my sadhana, all these things, that I'll become less materialistic. And I don't know about other people, I can just tell you about me. When I'm doing my sadhana, I work with much more clarity. I work much more happily. I love to make money. I love to sell things. I love to go on the phone with someone and sell him something that's going to make him money. I love money. I think money is a great thing. Obviously, the whole money system is shit, but in the system we live right now, we still have to live with the fact that the money thing is good, since if it's a whole nother video about the money system and everything, but if you just go back to how it used to be with money, forget about how it is today. The things you had, you could trade for other things. So if you today make money, it just means you're trading your skills, the things that you're good at. You're trading them for something else. And there's a bunch of things that I'd like to have in my life. So I have to improve my skills, so I become more valuable, so I get more money, so I can use that money to do the things I want to do in life. And the things I want to do in life is travel, see the world, have many girlfriends, be able to be having the leisure time to do sadhana, having the leisure time to work out and surfboard and snowboard, play basketball, be involved with life, don't have to worry about anything, So shit, this is much more a possibility now that I do sadhana. So in many ways, I'm doing sadhana because I want to have better materialistic life, because I want to be able to have the clarity so that I do the right things to get the right things materialistically in life or spiritually in life, in both ways. So there is no such fear that if I do sadhana, I'll become less materialistic. You know, Sadhguru still needs money. He still asks for donation. He after he got enlightened, he still started a construction business, and he did things so that he could raise money, so he could do Project Green Hands, start schools, do all this good things in life, do things that are whatever, good or bad, but they bring some positivity into life. They help people. You know, you think the Isha Yoga Center didn't cost money? It cost a tremendous amount of money. The whole place is something that you cannot make without money. You cannot have, you know, it's a lot of things don't cost money, but a lot of things cost time. And if you don't have the time, then you're not gonna do things. So you need to have money to buy yourself time. Because if you don't have money or enough money, then you will stress about having money because you need to eat, you need to sleep. Maybe you have debt, you know, all this shit. So in order to become more spiritual, you need money, actually. Without it, if you live in the jungle, Sadhguru said himself, you're going to have to spend all your time trying to survive. And when you try to survive, there's no more time to do your sadhana. Or maybe there will be time, and maybe it will be good. But the reality is, for most of us, we're not that kind of a being that can go to the jungle or to the Himalayan mountain and survive, and then on top of that become spiritual. So we need to do what works, and what works is to work on your material wealth and to work on your spiritual wealth, because it's the same thing. So if I do my sadhana, I'll have more clarity. Maybe I'll quit my job. Maybe you'll quit your job when you start doing a lot of sadhana, but you'll rejoin another business, or you start a business, or you do something that'll enhance your life, that you joyfully work on. Or maybe you keep your job and that you don't like, and then it's a dead end, but you will do it more joyfully because you have more distance about it. It doesn't matter what you do. With more distance, you'll do it joyfully because you can look at it and you can always laugh about everything. It's possible, and it's very much possible. I mean, I've been doing inner engineering now for 1 year, and for 1 month I've been like doing all the other sadhana stuff, and I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. It's taking time, but it's not a lot of time. In the sense, it's a gradual improvement. You the first day, and I've talked with many people who did inner engineering. The first day you do it, something tremendously changes within you, and you're on the path. You know what I mean? You'll gradually become more distant to all these things. And there's a legit point. Okay. When you become more disidentified with things in life, let's say you'll become more disidentified with money, okay? Because you realize, if I don't have money, I don't have to be sad about it either. Like, I'll find a way to make it. Or maybe you become less identified with, you know, sex and all this stuff. So then, you know, you fear that you'll have less sex with it, because if I'm not completely engaged and involved in this whole thing, I'm not gonna have all the sex. And guys, it's true. Like, before I started my spiritual process with Isha, and even before that, when I was doing certain spiritual stuff like, you know, ayahuasca and all this, definitely I had a lot less casual sex, because I realized that I wanted someone who I could spend time with, who I could, you know, have beautiful sex together, or even a good time together, and it would last, and you know, it would be special to me. And this casual sex just became not special to me anymore. It didn't feel like much. I used to think I needed, because I wanted to be cool. When other guys asked me how many times I had sex, I could say a high number, kind of thing. And then I realized it's all bullshit. I don't need to do anything for no one. I can if I want to have sex with someone, it'll come, A, and B, it will be much more beautiful and much less, you know, animalistic, and much less just compulsive. So you'll definitely, the quantity of sex decrease by a lot. but the quality of it got much higher. So that's something that will happen. You might, make, maybe you're making a lot of money, you do start doing Isha yoga, and then you realize, hey, I don't need so much money. You start making less money. You quit your job, start another job, but the quality of money will improve. The source of your money will be a much more joyful experience, and you'll be maybe more happy for your money. Stuff like that will happen. Like I'm not smoking weed anymore. It's not that I'm not smoking weed anymore, and I'm never going to smoke weed anymore. Maybe I'll smoke weed here and there, when the time's right. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me though. So that's the thing. If you become more disidentified than you are before, and that click happens during inner engineering, so that's why you should do it. You'll not be having this hot sensation, lustful greed for things anymore. You'll not have that anymore. So the quantity decreases. You'll not become addictive to things anymore. You can just do things and you realize it's fine. It's nice. It comes and goes. You stop playing video games forever. You can't do all this shit anymore. When you start doing Isha yoga, you will not be able to do this anymore, because your life will tell you this is fine. We can do it a little bit, but let's continue with life. Let's do other things with life, and naturally you become more balanced with everything. Naturally, you will become the version you should be. That which the blueprint that you have will manifest, and it's much more beautiful than any kind of thoughts you have about fantasies that anyways will not happen. Your friend might think that he's going to have an amazing life by having a lot of sex, having a lot of money and all this stuff. It's not true. If you look at people who were having a lot of sex, like pickup artists and stuff like that, if you look in their faces, they don't look joyful, man. They look like, miserable, because they're just doing it because they want to be the big man. They just want to feel like, they're the guy who had more sex than others. They just want to be better than others, kind of shit. And if you live your life by comparison, you're a miserable fuck, because life by comparison is weak ass shit, man. It's really no good. You need to live your life like you're the only person on the planet. You know what I mean? You need to live your life like, if somebody else has success, great. If somebody else doesn't have success, great. But I'm living by my own standards, by my own measurements of life. I'm living life on my terms, and I'm not making it depending if this person likes me or not. It doesn't care if somebody doesn't like me, if one of you guys hates me, whatever, dislikes me. I give zero fucks. But at the same time, if somebody really loves my shit, it feels good, but I'm not pinning that comment on the wall and saying, oh, now I made it because somebody said, I love your videos, or I love what you do, or I hope you become viral, or something like that. It doesn't matter anymore. You just become kind of beyond this kind of stuff, and you will turn into your true nature, your true nature, which is within you, which wants to manifest since forever, or for a very long time, and it's been being put down by thoughts, by ego, by desires that other people put into you that are not even your own desires. So this kind of stuff is what he's been talking about in this text of his friend. Your friend is not like that. That's why he's also your friend, because he's been having all these desires because he's been watching YouTube videos, he's been watching movies, he's been doing things in his life that other people told him to do, and he started to identify with that, and he started thinking this is the real thing, and he starts chasing a dream that once he gets, he'll be miserable. If he doesn't get, he'll keep chasing it. So it's a dead-end chasing. It's a dead-end desire that is no good for you, and you have to break out of that. You have to break out of thinking that one thing will be the thing. Nothing will be the one thing. You know what I mean? Only if you become truly seeing the beauty within everything, you make everything into one, that's the one thing. But not one girlfriend is not going to save your life. Being rich will not be the last thing you're going to do in your life. None of that stuff matters. But you need to do them because it's part of life. And if you do not master all aspects of life, then what's the point? It will maybe take many lifetimes, and you should concentrate on one thing at a time. But that's also the beauty of life. It'll never end, probably. Even Sadhguru is still mastering things, you know what I mean? He just became so disidentified that suddenly he becomes all with everything, and that's also the end of all things, but it's the beginning of all things too. Now we can really work on things that are really, really, truly mattering for the world. Things that I'm doing, they don't really matter for the world, but they matter to me right now. So I hope you guys learned something from this video, and please start doing inner engineering, friend of Vivek. You deserve it, and he deserves it, and you should listen to your friend, and you should listen to me, and you should just try it out. It's not going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form with your material gains or anything like that. It'll just improve the quality, and maybe it'll decrease the quantity, which is definitely not a bad thing, because there's plenty of things to do in life. You should have balance in your life. So you should do sport, you should work on your business, you should do all these things. That'll become much more possible with inner engineering. You'll see half an hour a day spent in inner engineering, and you'll start getting much more clarity on your life of what the things you need to do right now, what the things you need to solve in your life right now, the things that if you get them done right now, will snowball into other things that you'll get done, and your whole life will become more beautiful and more transparent and more wondrous and miraculous and all this good stuff. And I'm going to stop right now, because you guys can tell I'm very involved in this topic, because it's something that I have issues with my ego all the time that I need to look at all the time, because I have a similar kind of thing. So I'm not saying that this is something that is you're going to solve by just watching this video. You're going to grind this thing. You got to understand that by learning inner engineering, by doing Shambhavi Mahamudra every day, you'll become more disidentified, and that in turn will help you to achieve the goals you actually want, get the clarity you actually need to achieve the goals that are actually possible for you, all this kind of good stuff. So thank you a lot, namaskaram, and I'm gonna get something to eat now. Goodbye.